Oh, you already know the drill. We have to start the video with completing every single clue once and opening all the caskets. I feel like this is gonna be a ritual at this point. I want you to take a mental note in your head. How much do you think the total value of these 6 clues is gonna be? The first opening got me like 250k, the second one got me 1.25 mil. So I'm hoping for something yummy with these caskets. Oh my god, I can't do this master clue. I need 83 Slayer. This is like me on a first date, super awkward. Imagine your main account only having 70 Slayer and 90 plus combat stats. This skill tab is like a horror movie right now. Okay, whatever. I guess we're doing 5 caskets. Will old school RuneScape ever get a new skill? No. That's the answer. Well, maybe, but really, no. At least not yet. Okay, let me explain this. A new skill for old school RuneScape players is like a kid in a candy store. If that candy store had 75% of the products. Okay, that made no sense, but I'm keeping it in. The correct answer is we just can't make up our minds. So let's take a step back, look at what we have so far, what we could potentially get and what can Checkex do. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Nobody. Just like Checkex's customer support, getting a new skill in old school RuneScape is pretty much a joke so far. It just hasn't landed, but I do think there is a potential in the future. I made a poll a few days ago asking you guys, do you think a new skill could come to old school RuneScape in the future, and it got over 1000 votes. This is what we ended up with. If those yes votes don't deserve nice in the comments, I don't know what will. Overall, pretty interesting results. Now, if you're already saying, Kribus, this doesn't mean anything to me because I can't read. Say no more, my friend, I got you. By looking through old school RuneScape standards, we didn't quite pass the ball, as it's not 75%. But if you look at all the 3 skills that have been voted so far in old school RuneScape, this one was definitely the closest. Now, I'm not saying that my votes are the epitome of old school RuneScape, but I think it still gives a pretty good overall picture on where players stand today, compared to, let's say, 5 years ago. There is only so much content in old school RuneScape, and I feel like there is a line, and that line's name is nostalgia. And there will come a time where we have to cross that line, no matter what. So yes, old school RuneScape was built on nostalgia, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but nostalgia can only keep the game alive so long. By the way, let me know in the comments, would you like to see a new skill in old school RuneScape? Is that something that would interest you? Like, what are the requirements you think we should have for a new skill? Should it be processing? Should it be related to combat? Maybe a new resource skill? I would love to know what the overall community thinks about this. Oh my god, this is the most pathetic video I've ever made. I can't complete this elite clue. Oh my god, I need to do like 5 quests to get access to Vase. And I just don't want to do quests right now. I really don't want to do quests. Whatever. I'll leave this and the master clue for the next video. Checkex is cocking me hard right now because I'm talking trash about them. There is like total of 2 steps I can't do for elite clues and I got one of them. Whatever. I'll be back once I finish the 4 caskets. I don't know if I should cry or laugh right now. In the history of old school RuneScape, a total of 3 skills have been pulled and all 3 have failed. Let's briefly look into all of them and see what could be different. But let me open these lousy 4 caskets before. Can I redeem my embarrassment of not completing elite or master clues? Beginner clue casket first. Yeah, I don't even know what I was expecting here. Easy clue is okay. I mean, at least those are uniques. Medium clue is trash, of course it is. Please redeem me. And yeah, but that is nothing. Okay, this is getting sad. You know what? I'm gonna keep this onion in my inventory for the rest of the video to cover up the tears. I promise you, next video, 6 caskets guaranteed. But let's get back to the topic. The 3 skills that failed were warding, artisan and sailing. Let's look at all 3 and see what went wrong. You can watch me do a fabulous job on this gauntlet run while I talk over it. Believe it or not, warding is actually in old school RuneScape today, just not as a skill. You see, warding was very similar to crafting in a sense that you can buy or obtain resources and then upgrade your armor, your magic gear, your rings, your rune crafting pouches, your dome books and so on and so on. Pretty much everything related to warding is in the game today. The Rune Pouch upgrade from Guardians of the Rift, the Dome of Water from Temporos, the Bloodbark armor from Shades of Morton. The Checkex team also wanted to essentially slowly start removing players away from Nightmare Zone and put all the rewards into the new skill. We're talking the ring upgrades, scroll of redirection and so on. As you can see, literally like 80% of warding is already in old school RuneScape today, but it was just introduced as separate pieces of content instead of putting it under one skill. And that was the issue. When the ball came out, there was so much information. Casual players were never able to digest all of it. 66% of the players wanted warding to come to old school RuneScape, but you can clearly see that everything involved with the skill had much higher likeness ratio. Most of the stuff has like 71, 73, 72% likeness. Checkex wanted to make a guild for this new skill, and that got 74% yes votes. That should already show you that people were actually interested in this, but just not in that form. I'm gonna put Sailing and Artisan into the same category, as both of them were pulled so long ago now that no skill would have passed at that point. The timing was just wrong, because players were still riding the nostalgia wave, and even skills like Slayer would have not passed the ball at the time. Sailing was pulled 7 years ago, and basically the whole idea was that you could build your own boats in different Killanor ports and use those boats in either PvP or raids or discovering new islands. Again, a lot of the ideas from Sailing are in the game today, like random generated rooms in Raids 1, Fossil Islands, Sea Knight Jewelry and so on. And Artisan was the most disliked new skill with only 58% of yes votes, and the whole idea of the skill was essentially skilling Slayer, where you get a new task from a master that includes gathering resources and crafting them into new items. Completing task gives you points and experience, and well, it's basically like Slayer. But again, the problem was that this was pulled almost 8 years ago, where players just didn't care about having new skills. Quick note, you guys better like this video, okay? Otherwise I'm gonna have to do like a OnlyFans, and trust me, okay, when I say this, nobody wants to see that. So make sure you like that video, otherwise I'm gonna force you to watch me in strings. Whoa, jump cuts. Let's continue. So what does Checkex think of all this? Well, I'm glad you asked. In the recent Q&A, Mod Elena gave a perfect summary about new skills in old school RuneScape and the problems we are facing.
I think the problem with like introducing a new skill in old school is that the majority of people want one skill, right? But people don't want to decide on one skill because people want different things. Like some people want engineering, some people want warding maybe, or some people want sailing. Everyone has a different idea of what a skill in old school looks like, and the problem with introducing a new skill is that one, it needs to pass a poll, and two, we can only do one at a time because it's a huge investment, right? And so that means that the way we need to approach it is by saying, we all need to agree on one skill to come first if we do a skill at all. And then we can do more skills eventually, right?
So that's the problem, essentially, and what I said at the start, we just can't decide what we want. Like, you can clearly see that at least 70% of the player base is interested in a new skill, but we can't come up with a conclusion what that skill should look like. So Checkex doesn't want to take unnecessary risks like they did with boarding, spend months and months developing it and then see it fail, because only 70% of the player base likes it, instead of 75. Okay, there are few counter arguments to new skills like nostalgia, like authentic old school feeling, which I personally do not agree with. I mean, nostalgia is what brought me back 9 years ago, I agree with that, but for me, that feeling is long gone now. The other counter argument is that we still have skills that are very outdated and need to be looked at first, which I completely agree, but that doesn't mean we can't have new stuff while also reworking on the old skills. Old school RuneScape has 7 different teams working on different ideas at all times. The scale of the team is much bigger now than it used to be back in the day, which means different projects could come out much faster these days. And the most ridiculous argument I've heard so far is that max players don't want another skill because it ruins their cape. Which, like, okay, cool, I mean, that's what the voting is for, I guess. I don't know. If I was maxed in old school RuneScape, I would be so excited to see a new skill. But I guess to each their own. What I will say is that we shouldn't be protecting max players. They're big boys, okay? They can understand what's good for the game. The only protection in this case should have been used by the parents of the maxed players. No, I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking. Don't be an idiot, okay? Otherwise you end up like this guy that can't even do clues properly. I'll end you off with this, no more jokes. I really think a new skill could bring in more new players to this game and give us something new and fresh. Checkex should reconsider the option for a new skill now that the team is much bigger and the timing is better. Start small, ask one question. Wait, what? This was not supposed to happen right now. I got the fish barrel. Isn't that like super rare? Okay, I mean, I'll take it. Yes, I will. I didn't prepare for this. Okay, like I said before I got interrupted by myself. Start small, okay? Ask one simple question. Do you want a new skill in old school RuneScape? And if players agree, Checkex can take that and start developing a brand new idea. Jesus, okay. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea now and think about how bad my main account is. But hey, at least I got this barrel. That's nice, I guess.